Hello, my name's Ed Frawley. This is another Q&A that came into Leerburg through the Ask Cindy portal. Cindy's my wife. We own Leerburg. We get these questions every single day, and I think we help a lot of people with them. You don't need to be a Leerburg customer to send in a question on dog training, on breeding, on health care for your dog. You do need to use your email address, because a lot of times people will ask a question and the question will be just a couple of sentences long and they want an answer. There's not enough information there to give an accurate answer. Cindy will write back and say, hey, what about this, this, or this? What have you been doing with the dog? How old is the dog? Yada, yada. And then the customer will write back to us. And Cindy will answer the question to the best of her knowledge. And then if that customer comes back 2 weeks later, 6 months later, a year later, we can look them up on what we answered, because they all go in a database, and she can review what she had answered before. That's why we need the email address. We don't spam people with email, and we never, ever will sell our mailing list. That's not the way we do business. So this is a good question about a lady who uses marker training, and her dog is getting overweight because she's using so many treats, and she has some questions on it. I'll read it first, and then we'll just toss out some ideas. So, hi Cindy, in utilizing high-value treats, hot dogs, string cheese, as you recommend in your courses that I'm taking with you, my 3-year-old neutered English lab has started to gain weight. I have naturally cut back on his meal size a little bit, but he's a lab with high food drive and a voracious appetite. I know that. I had a lab. Gabby was my narcotics dog when I was on the sheriff's department. She did everything. I think she'd have eaten herself to death. Do you have a particular treat that you recommend that helps manage this? So, to start off with, we don't know what she's feeding, but what we will do is we will take a look at, if we have a dog like this, we'll take a look at what we normally feel is the correct amount of food for the food that we feed that day. And we feed twice a day. So there's a morning food and an evening food. And they're the same. And we'll figure out how much that dog needs. And then we'll take that food and we will use that food on a voracious eater in our dog training. We'll take it with us if we have to take it in a bowl, if we have to take it in a Ziploc bag, whatever. That's the food that we use. And that seems to work pretty good, because they're not going to be putting on a lot of weight if you're feeding them the normal, balanced diet that you've had them on when they were at the correct weight. But I will say this. If we don't use all of the morning food in the training session for that day, whatever's left in the bowl for the morning food that's left over, that goes in the evening meal. So we don't cut that food out just because we haven't trained enough for the dog to have all the food during that day. They get the rest of it that night. And if they haven't had it through the day, they're going to be more voracious at night. They will eat it. Now, I should say that this only works for dogs that really have a voracious food drive. You know, dogs that are not crazy for food, you're going to have to use high-value food rewards. And then you have to rethink the game book a little bit. So there's no rules 100% of the time in dog training. That's just not, you have to work with the dog that's sitting in front of you and figure out what's going to work for that dog. So this customer comes back and says, I feed Farmer's dog and he has super food drive. Okay, so we're not familiar with Farmer's dog food, so we really can't give advice on that specific dog food, good, bad, or different. We just don't know it. Cindy goes on to say, if he'll work for a lower value treat, she'd use something like Charlie Bears that are low in calories. So we sell these, and I'll put a link to them in the video. And it's a very good idea. You don't have to use a high-calorie food treat if you have a dog that you're worried about gaining weight just because of the treats that you're feeding and because you can't use the method that I'd already described. Cindy went on to say, my young dog works for a freeze-dried raw version of the raw food I use, and the last 2 days he only got freeze-dried food because I trained multiple sessions in one day, and he received all the calories he needed during training. So you have to kind of keep that in mind, have an overall view of where you are with the amount of food that you're putting in your dog's that you're putting into your dog, to try and hold back. So you've got a couple of different things going on. We use some freeze-dried food for dog treats, and we don't measure it out by the ounce and try and figure it out that way. We kind of watch our dog. We know what we'd like to see. We want to see a healthy dog, not a fat dog. We want to see a definition in the behind the ribs. And we basically estimate what we think we need to keep our dog in good condition. Kind of the way we look at it is, if we think the dog, our dog, is getting a little chunky, we'll cut back on his food rations by about 25% for a day or so and just watch the dog. If he's too skinny, we'll go the other way and add a little bit more to the dog food for a day or two. But we can manage our dog almost on multiple days to watch how our dog acts, because we got hands on him so much, and it sounds like this lady has hands on her dog so much, she's going to see a change relatively quickly if she modifies how she's handling the dog's food. So I hope that makes sense. It all really comes back to sitting back and thinking about what you're doing and understanding that you can't go to someone like us and say, what should I do? Because we don't see your dog. We don't know how you train. We don't know how much you train. We can only tell you what we do with our dogs and give you some ideas to try. A lot of these questions come down to working with the dog that's sitting in front of you. That's the key to solving the problem. Trying to generalize all breeds, all dogs, all ages, it doesn't work that way. That's just not the way we can help people.